doubt that it's meant to be racist.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Well, meant to be racist and actually being racist are two very different things.
I mean, it could be racist. It could be racist in the same way that the episode 1 and the guys.
Jar Jar Binks.
Well, Jar Jar, and then the
Naboo.
No, not the Naboo guys. Who were the bad guys in that? It was the Trade Federation,
the Trade Federation,
who all talked like Yul Brynner in The King and I. Yes. Like, that was a little bit dodgy. Like, racist in the, like, we're not trying to be racist, we just accidentally happened and tripped and fell into racism.
To me, though, that's the more harmful. That's the more harmful of the two options.
That
because,
is
like,
not the more harmful. Accidental racism is
premeditated
no way.
racism is not as...
Okay, not like... Okay.
I hate you because you're white is worse than something else. I don't know. Introduce the show.
There's a show.
Welcome to Geek. I am Danny Danger.
I'm Mark Gardner. There's Josh. He's over there.
Josh.
Grumpy curmudgeon.
This is actually totally unplanned subject content.
Whatever. We're flexible.
But our planned subject content. So this has been kind of an interesting week in geek culture.
Yes.
Especially like in real life geek culture. Normally we talk about like fiction stuff. But this is like our biggest story, I think, this week by far is actually some in real life, like real happening.
I mean,
stuff.
is it? I don't know if it's our biggest, but I found this very interesting, and we had some interesting conversation about it. It was the news that came out. For some reason, every year, somebody somewhere tries to figure out how much money PewDiePie makes. And they just came out and said that PewDiePie made like over $7 million this past year, and people are furious.
Well,
that
it's not just
PewDiePie.
PewDiePie.
$7 million.
It's a lot of YouTube stars. People really want to know how much YouTube stars make, but PewDiePie being like the...
PewDiePie is the biggest guy on YouTube and has been for quite a while. And honestly, there probably won't be anybody that surpasses him because he's got billions of followers on there. Mm-hmm. So there's nobody that's really going to meet PewDiePie for the foreseeable future at any time. So people are a little obsessed about it. And people are upset that this guy is making over $7 million. And they're like, oh, he just sits around yelling at the computer. There's no way he deserves that. Okay, quit watching his videos.
It's just jealousy.
That's all it is.
I just want to like
It's frustrating to me as somebody that's online. These people don't think that what we're doing is valuable.
No, that
is totally what they do.
That is not what that has to do with it. It's just jealousy, man. It's just, man, like that guy is doing what he loves and getting paid for it.
Right.
Everybody would love to be doing what they love and getting paid for it. If you can make your job your hobby, like, or make your hobby your job, something like that. You'll be the happiest cat on the planet.
Okay, so here's what I think. I think we should take that really horrible reality show that came out not too long ago that was like, here's a whole bunch of money. Oh, but you could give it to someone less fortunate. We're gonna film this whole emotionally grueling process.
Oh, yeah.
I think we should take that reality show, that kind of premise, and go to one of these people who's complaining about how much PewDiePie is making, and just be like, oh, you get all of this money, and then like within 20 minutes, but you have to listen to all these people tell you why you don't deserve it.
No, the simple fact that he has to the simple fact that he has to read his own chat logs.
That's enough.
That is worth at least $3 million. The other thing that they're not considering is that he's Swedish, and I guarantee you like 60% of that is going right to some Viking government.
Oh, I'm sure
thing.
it is. Still, I'll live with the $3.5 million that I've got left over after the government.
Are they euros or are they krona?
They're euros.
Are they euros?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
They're just going to give it right to Greece.
So I think that there is an attitude here that people feel like, and I've seen this with Hollywood stars too. You know, people will complain, and I've even been, guilty of this in the past. People will complain, oh, movie stars make too much money. Oh, these people make, NBA stars make too much money. Realistically, now I understand that PewDiePie is Swedish, but realistically, depending on which study you're looking at, the number one export in America is entertainment. I mean, the most money that we're bringing into this country is entertainment that we are putting out. It's legitimate.
Very, very hard to believe. I want to know that number.
I don't at all.
Just cultural exports. I mean, we send out a lot of oil too.
Well, that's true. We do send. Well, how much do we send out as opposed to we use? We're a huge producer, but we keep most of it here.
We're an exporter as well.
Yeah, but compared to like
but everything goes into the global. I mean, I don't want to get into a conversation about
global economies and stuff.
But you have to admit that whether it's the number 1 or 2 or 5, entertainment is a very lucrative export in this country.
I thought our number 1 export was fat children.
No, we don't send them out. We keep them.
That's right. We keep them here.
They're probably related.
What? No.
Did you just say that?
I didn't just say that. I won.
You caught yourself like that.
I did. I was like, no. that's
We
not true,
apologize,
actually.
Internet.
What did she say?
I was about to say that nobody wants fat children, but I want all of the fat children. I want all of the children. So I love kids. So, but whatever.
Internet, I am sorry.
Internet, we apologize.
There will be a Twitter apology from Danny later
Also,
on.
foot surgically insert mouth. Or insert into mouth.
This is the thing about like always having a camera on when you're just talking, because eventually you're gonna say something stupid.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's
And
just-
I foot in mouth all the time. It's just one of those things where you just kind of have to like learn to live with it, and you have to like master this sincere apology. Like when I say something stupid, I really am truly genuinely sorry.
That is true. Yes, I'll
really
give you that.
am.
You really are.
I'm very sorry that I said that stupid thing. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to say something stupid tomorrow.
Oh, it definitely doesn't mean that. No, we're not gonna.
But I won't repeat that same stupid thing because I learned from my mistakes. So there's that.
Okay.
It's always a process of like learning,
We're
educating
evolving.
yourself,
We're
evolving.
Be better people. That's all we're doing. That's what this show is. This is us becoming better people,
This is us
so that you
becoming
can all
better
watch.
people.
Are you not entertained? Moving
Okay,
on.
sorry, I was doing some digging, and you're right. The entertainment industry is like we make like 200 billion on like machine parts, but if you aggregate all of the entertainment, it's really approaching like 600 billion.
Wow. See,
So,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
that was
but
very
if we could
smug.
monetize the fat children,
No, actually,
I really do think
just-
like if someone could come up with a monetization strategy for fat kids.
I really love how Josh is taking the bullet for you on this one.
I was a fat kid, so I'm allowed to say this, by the way. Okay? You are not allowed to say this. I was a fat kid.
too.
So we should have like a list, like a board of the things that you can joke about, but we can't. Just like Jewish, you, not us. You, not
Jewish,
us.
fat
Jewish,
kids.
fat kids.
Hey, no, you don't get to own
acapella
fat kid.
groups.
I was.
Acapella groups.
And
That's right.
generally,
I would never make fun of an
and
acapella group.
awesome. Like
Generally awesome?
Generally awesome, because I am. Generally awesome.
It's the general.
Specifically, it's less.
That's a general awesome.
Do we have specific topics that we're talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
Yes.
We actually,
And I
we
was
were talking
actually
about one
gonna
on
say,
PewDiePie.
speaking of- So I was going to say
Awesome.
that speaking of like awesome things, one of the most awesome announcements. So everybody's sort of following what's coming out of San Diego Comic-Con in the prep for all of the announcements that are coming out, and we're just literally like scratching for news from San Diego Comic-Con, and I am like so excited. There will be a flying Snoopy and his house and his little red dog house at San Diego Comic-Con, and they have showed a video. They've made a video of like
I have it.
of how this works, how this guy built this like.
And this guy has made stuff before, but this thing, when
He
this
made a
thing takes
TARDIS
off,
as well.
I mean, come on, you cannot look at the flying Snoopy and not think that that's pretty awesome.
That's-
really and truly.
Yeah, I mean, literally. When
Oh,
we
that's an actual. That's not.
That's
not
actual.
graphics.
It's
That's
going
no,
to
that's
be
the actual
flying
thing.
That's drone Snoopy.
over
Yes.
people.
Yes.
It's going to be flying over people at SDCC, like just capturing all of the fields.
Fuck SDDC. Let's send this to Iraq. Let's make warfare nicer.
The answer.
Yeah, that's right.
Good grief.
The answer, for real, the answer to all of America's international problems.
I love that Peanuts reference, right? The good grief as you bomb them off the Snoopy. There's something wrong. We're going to hell.
I love this. This is supposedly part of the topic of conversation where they're making a Peanuts movie, which I don't know how I feel one way.
I saw the
or
preview
other.
for it, which is all actually flying Snoopy.
Oh, is that really all
Yeah,
it is?
yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it's. I mean, they've done a good. I went and saw. We talked about this last week. I saw Inside Out, and and the trailer. One of the trailers before Inside Out was for the new Peanuts movie. They've done a good job of marrying kind of modern animation technique with the classic Peanuts kind of A Charlie Brown Christmas style.
Right.
Okay.
So that's something.
I always want to remain hopeful, and especially with Peanuts, because
Are they still I just want to know if in this day and age are Peanuts actually relevant? One, who actually reads comic strips and newspapers anymore?
Right.
Two, there are a lot of cartoons.
There are a lot of cartoons.
And there are a lot of cartoons that
But-
are much better than Peanuts.
But A Charlie Brown Christmas is a classic.
yeah.
Again, Jewish,
The Great
don't care.
Pumpkin.
Okay, Great
The
Pumpkin.
Great Pumpkin.
Great Pumpkin.
Great Pumpkin.
You can't. You
I
can't. throw the
enjoy
Jewish
the
card
Great
out.
Pumpkin. I like what's the summer camp one where they all drown whitewater rafting?
That was Friday the 13th. No, I don't know.
There was one.
Oh,
where
there
they were-
was one. Yeah, there was
No, I didn't
one.
just make that up.
They didn't actually drown, but they were all river rafting, and there was like a thing.
I stopped when they went under, so I wanted
He was
to.
like, "Oh, they're dead."
Yeah.
I think you might actually be the Charlie Brown of this cast and crew.
Really?
Really?
I don't know if he's Charlie Brown.
I don't know. You might be like the marriage of Charlie Brown and Lucy, if there could be such a thing.
Mike, scratching neck.
Oh damn! Mike.
Always with you and your Mike
Here's what
scratching neck.
We're gonna fix this thing.
You're not.
Okay.
You're not. You're gonna fuck it up.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely true. Well, it's like barely gaff taped on here. Let me see what we can do.
We're a high-end operation here at .geek.
We are.
How does that sound,
And
Will?
then a light falls from the ceiling.
All right, so hopefully that
and
sounds
kills
nice.
one of the cast members.
I at least clipped on the outside of the shirt. So
Yeah. All right. So
And that's
Charlie,
how Danny Danger died.
a Charlie Brown
a Charlie Brown rafting adventure.
drowning. All right. So there's a new Charlie Brown movie coming up. It's Peanuts.
May or may not involve
It's
drowning.
whatever.
May
We
not
don't
involve
know.
death and
I
destruction.
mean, I guess we need a new one because we haven't had anything since the TV. specials.
Favorite Peanut. Like, who's your favorite Peanut?
Oh, who's the dude that
Schroeder.
plays Schroeder? Yeah, I like Schroeder.
Yeah, you are.
He's talented.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah, he plays-
I'm actually a huge fan of Peppermint Patty. I think I actually am Peppermint Patty.
You are
I'm
Peppermint
very
Patty.
loud. I'm very bossy. Questionable sexual orientation.
There's no question. There's not. It's not a question for
When
either
you're
one.
watching it and you're 5,
But
questionable
I guess,
sexual
but I don't think
orientation.
there's ever any questions.
Actually, when you're watching it when you're 5, you don't have sexual orientation.
That's true. You're
No, I
watching
mean
like,
her
you're
sexual
cool.
orientation is questionable, not
yeah.
yours.
Well, I'm saying the average 5-year-old is not questioning whether or not
Yeah.
Peppermint Patty is gay.
It's just Peppermint Patty. And
I guess that was more me like babysitting, like, circa, like my 16-year-old babysitting phase of watching a lot of Peanuts cartoons with kids. Maybe
this
that's
is about
where
to
this
turn
comes.
into like a Lena Dunham episode.
It really is very quickly.
It's just very
No, it's not. Danny's things.
Danny's things. Can we
Danny's
get a Danny's things? This
We
is
have
a
a
new
Danny's
feature.
Things?
Oh yeah, we have a
Where's
Danny's
new.
things?
I would like to introduce with pride.
Danny's
Danny's
things.
things.
Right there. That's right. Every time that something like apparently a 16-year-old Danny babysitting watching Peanuts. Ooh,
Imagine
kids-
that's one
sexuality.
of Danny's things.
The kids had gone to bed. To be fair.
So if it's
Wait,
slightly,
the
Today's
kids had
theme
gone
is
to
very
bed and you're
quickly
watching
turning
Peanuts, questioning Peppermint Patty's sexuality after the kids went to bed.
The theme of this show is very quickly turned into my inappropriate comments about children. Can we just cut? Can I just quit for the day? Like,
I'm done.
I'm going to get our
I'm out.
show in a lot of trouble with
Oh, we're
some
already
people
there.
of very
We're already
high
there.
authority.
What's next? What else is going on?
the Daily Dot in no way condones Danny Danger's proclivities.
No.
We will absolutely cooperate with the police in any way, shape, or form, and say whatever they want us to say. We
tell
have
us.
no problem with that. Next topic.
So,
Next topic.
more San Diego Comic-Con promotion. I have to talk about this, even if we only just touch on it. KFC has partnered with Robot Chicken. That's right, the marriage that you never thought you wanted to see, but now you've seen it and you can't ever unsee it. So there will be different areas of where the Colonel is cosplaying. There are statues that are posted throughout San Diego Comic-Con where you can supposedly get Wi-Fi. I don't believe in this mythical convention Wi-Fi. If I see it and maybe a unicorn alongside it, then maybe I will believe it to be fact.
Well, one of the statues is him as like a unicorn centaur kind of thing.
Exactly. I need pictures.
Oh, unicorn centaur.
There we
There
go.
you
The
go.
third one from the left is weird.
That's pretty-
I don't know, man. These guys.
The anime girl wins.
These wig me out so much. I am so disturbed by these things.
I just feel like Southern culture is having a hard week. Like I feel like this is the net. Like nobody takes the Confederate flag seriously anymore.
And now Colonel Sanders.
Now Colonel Sanders is. What's
oh.
next?
Seriously?
I don't know.
Honestly.
What is
I
next?
think, I like Colonel Sanders' attitude. Like, never take yourself too seriously to
Was that-
make
how long
money
has
or
that
reach
been
an
going
Yeah,
on?
that's
audience.
a brand new attitude. It didn't used to be that attitude. He's like, hey, I'm the Colonel. I make chicken. Now he's like wearing cosplay and stuff like that.
I do,
It's a
though.
new
I think this
attitude.
is absolutely brilliant and just like so ridiculous. It's brilliant.
I mean, it's good marketing, and I
Not to
get.
mention that I'm going to have one of each of these 3D printed and I'm going to hide them around your house.
Oh my God, that will freak me out so much. I will have nightmares.
That
I
would
will have
be
all the
weird.
nightmares. That will just be disturbing.
What is the name? What is the technical name of the phobia for KFC, for the Colonel?
Is there actually a name for that?
Can we name this?
Fear of the Colonel? I don't know.
I don't know Latin.
Surely someone else has had a phobia of
Okay,
the Colonel
internet,
before
you internet
you.
people that know Latin. Colonellophobia. What's the Latin for being afraid of the Colonel? Colonel Sanders. I don't know. Get on that.
The Latin word for chicken? Were there
Latin word
chickens?
for- there's already a chicken phobia somewhere, I'm sure.
Were there,
People are afraid of chicken.
I
were
don't
there
know what the
chickens
Latin
in
word for
Rome?
chicken
Was
is
that a
either.
thing?
There's got to be something. There's got to be something. What else? Anyway, I mean, long story short, these are disturbing. I get it, and it's kind of
Long
cool that they're
story
dealing with
short.
robot chicken. I think that's kind of cool because Robot. This is
It's,
a very robot.
it really is a match made in heaven, though. I mean, this is great.
Is it a match made in heaven? Is that?
Or one of the circles of hell that I would be likely to visit for summer vacation.
Right here. This is a circle of hell. Okay, the fornicators get to hang out with these statues of Kentucky Fried Chicken Colonel Sanders.
And so do you when I put them in your house.
I am in.
And I will freak out and fall down the stairs, break my neck, and it's your fault.
Don't put that on me. Don't put that
What's
on me.
next?
Wait.
So.
Oh, wait. What?
Wait. If I can, I'm just trying to see if I can get these. So I forgot that we were talking about Comic-Con. So I went to Comic-Con a few years ago, back when I had a different job.
Please tell me you're in cosplay.
No, it is not Josh in cosplay, but I used to, for those of you at home, I used to work for CNN on politics. I ran this thing. It was a bus. It went all over the place. And for the bus, we did things like, come on, bring up, yes.
You're so fancy.
Why are you not working?
You don't even know. That's all I've got going in my head now. You run
The song Fancy? That's
so
weird.
Fancy.
So,
I'm into it.
Waiting.
Yeah.
What do you got for me, Josh?
Sorry, here we go. So this is the inside of my bus. You'll notice who that is
that's
right
the
there.
president.
And that's fine. He wasn't president at the time. It was cold. It was in Iowa. But I made damn sure that I could do my boondoggle trip with his giant political bus and do the important stuff. And the first one was Bruce Campbell right there. Velez being one of my best friends, Daniel Velez, and I made sure that I could get Bruce Campbell do it. I actually didn't ask him to flick him off. He just did it naturally.
He just did it. It's just his
because
natural
he's
state.
goddamn Bruce Campbell.
He is Bruce Campbell.
And then probably the most important picture I've ever taken would be this one right here.
Oh, yes. Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart
driving the
bus.
CNN bus.
I just imagine he's killing people. That was my first and only Comic-Con experience, and I really enjoyed it. I have to say. I would like to go there again.
Yeah, I'm really excited for news that's coming out of Comic-Con, and it's interesting because the Anime Expo was last weekend, and then we've got that leading up into Comic-Con, and Tokyo Pop is actually back. They announced that they were coming back and would start publishing manga again at the Anime Expo, and they announced that they will be looking at portfolios for people at San Diego Comic-Con, and I really want to have a conversation about this because Tokyo Pop just sort of dropped off the map with no announcement or no anything, which is seriously like totally an anime trope. Like, what the fuck?
When did that happen? That was like
in 2013, I think.
Okay.
And either they came back in 2013 and just started producing like regular. I know that there was a period of time where they were not producing any new content. They were only putting out like volumes of stuff that had already been published and was just being translated. But I think this is a really interesting conversation to have because there are a lot of people who are concerned about these people who come to Tokyo Pop and show them their portfolio because Tokyo Pop has a reputation for having some shady creator ownership policies. And I think this is a really important thing to talk about because as an artist, you're gonna have tons of people in Artist Alley, tons of people that are just attending San Diego Comic-Con looking to network because that is a big part of the art community is the networking and just getting your face out there and getting your art out there and getting people to pay attention. So when you're showing your art to someone and saying, hey, I want you to make this into a comic, it's really, 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 really important that people remember that a lot of these companies don't give a flying crap about your creators' rights, and it's your responsibility to, or not responsibility, but if you want to care about your creator rights, you have to care about your creator rights.
It is your responsibility.
It is your responsibility.
Yeah,
It's your product.
What percentage of professional comic book artists got their real start or any real thing by showing their drawings at a con?
Very small, but I think the point is that whatever the current state is, artists who had worked with them in the past had some negative experiences with them as far as the ownership of their content, of their creations. I think that's what they're talking about.
Oh, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Read your contract
Read your freaking
carefully.
contract.
That's the thing I want to be really clear on.
The onus, it's if you got screwed on content ownership, it's because you didn't read your contract well enough.
Yep.
And that's on you, dude.
It boils down to this. Don't sell your IP. Just don't do it. You need to take control of the stuff that you own. I mean, these businesses are going to want to take everything they can.
Unless you're taking a drug test, in which case
then take
you should buy pee.
You should buy pee.
Buy pee. IP?
This guy.
Puns are good, man.
It's a thing that
puns and drug humor. Like, can you get this anywhere else? I don't think you can.
No, nowhere else on the
nowhere
internet.
on the internet can you find
these
two things together.
These two things together don't exist.
Delightful
on the
marriage.
Not at all. Not at all. Long story short, though, like I said, read your freaking content. It's the same thing, there are a lot of creators in the YouTube space who they get a message from an MCN, which is a multi-channel network, and like, oh God, I'm gonna make the big time now. And they just sign it. And this has changed over the past few years, but a few years back, you were signing away all of your videos.
Don't ever just sign a contract without reading it. That's so dumb.
Well, they think like, no, this is the big time. I need to do this so I'll become huge. No, you don't. You don't need to do that. And as far as the YouTube space has changed, MCNs don't really do that anymore. There's been such a backlash on that. That's not a big thing. There might need to be something similar with Tokyo Pop or whatever. I don't know this company because I'm not a manga guy. I don't really read a lot of manga, so
it was less relevant to me because it was specifically related to Tokyo Pop, and more relevant to me because I know so many people who work with so many smaller published comic book companies that just like don't care about creators' rights and don't really focus on creators' rights, or don't like put that into their contract. They don't look out for their artists. They don't pay them on time. Like, it's a very, very common thing. It's a lot more common than you would think. And so it's really important, like, just to reiterate to everyone who's going to con as an artist, like, represent yourself. You are your legal team. Like, you are your legal team. Watch your ass. Cover your ass.
Boils down to that. Watch your ass.
Boils down to cover your ass. CYA. So speaking of other controversies, especially with Artist Alley and art, I do want to talk also about Funimation took a stance at the Anime Expo this last weekend about fan art. And it basically boiled down to, well, we recognize that fan art is copyrighted material, but we're just going to look the other way. And that is super problematic because now that I feel like one company has taken a stance on this, I feel like it's going to start. I'm worried it's going to start a social trend.
I need to unpack that a little bit. I mean, are you saying that fan art is exploiting copyright material, but they're not going to sue, or
Yes.
they're taking? Why is that a problem?
Yeah, why is that?
It's not that it's a problem. It's not that their statement is a problem. It is putting it out there and saying, yes, we recognize that this is copyrighted material, we're just not going to do anything about it. Pretty much leaves the air open for any other copyrighted material to say, yeah, but we are.
Well, they
But
have
that was.
right.
But that's not. Nothing has changed.
Nothing.
And I understand that. I think it's more just like it's going to be, there's been like I'm worried that there has been like a stack of dominoes that has just like not been pushed over. And that it's one of those things where, like, when you're doing something bad and you don't want anyone to see.
No.
Run with this, Josh.
Basically, what you're saying is these guys actually publicly and came out and said they weren't going to be dicks. But the problem is that means everyone else is going to be dicks. And I don't see that. Look, fan art is copyrighted material if you're trying to commercialize and sell it. By and large, it's under fair use and remixing and satirizing, unless you're actually building it for commercial purposes.
They are talking about artists in Artist Alley selling fan art. That's specifically what they're talking about.
I mean, that is if.
But then where do
there's
commissions fall
there is
on
a
that?
riff. I mean, there are professional artists that make a living just doing far more stealing than that.
Oh, that's true.
So, yeah, they could, since it's happening at a con where in their house, basically. Someone is coming into your house and selling a table that looks remarkably like your table and pictures of your children with mustaches drawn on them. There's no question that it's copyright infringement, but it's also community building. And what they did, and they said right there, is look, the community would get all kinds of pissed off if we actually did something about this. And so we're not going to do something about it because we support our community.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Any reasonable company will feel that way about this.
I don't think that is. I actually think that their stance on it is really great. I'm just worried. Like, I'm always worried that like someone has drawn attention to something that is naughty
You're just
or
paranoid
bad.
that someone else is going to start paying attention to all the weird shit you're doing. and again, the Daily Dot in no way condones or endorses any of the weird shit that Danny does.
I love how I'm the crazy one.
I'm the straight man in this show. You're the crazy one. You're the curmudgeonly one.
Queen becomes crazy.
Meh. I don't know.
But Danny's things. Big news! Big news! So speaking of San Diego Comic-Con, one of the things that we're really excited about is announcements for X-Men Apocalypse. And one of the things they came out and basically said today was that the new movie is sort of going to be a retelling. It's going to take all of the previous movies, all the previous X-Men movies, including the first 3, and sort of mesh them together, but then retell it. And I'm really confused.
Is that what it said?
I feel like that's sort
that's what it
of
said.
because there is like this. There is a time, like there is a crossover where you've got the old stories and the new stories coming together. But he said that that Apocalypse is going to be a new retelling. So are we undoing?
Is it? Well, it's a new retelling of the young X-Men. I need to find that quote because I feel like that quote. It's the Bryan Singer. Bryan Singer talking about X-Men Apocalypse. He just recently did it. I can pull it up on there, but it felt like this was going to basically here's what it felt like to me when I read this thing.
We'll wrap up old storylines.
Wrap up old storylines, and then it was a launching pad for a new X-Men or something like that. I think it said something like that in there.
Yeah, I'm finding it.
Yeah, I'm finding it in there. It feels like this is a little bit of them saying, it's like, okay, the first 3, we get it. It's probably kind of sketchy on the first 3. So we're going to make things so that now Sophie Turner can be Jean Grey, and it'll be better. That's
We're going to put some
like
spackle on this giant hole in the wall
and just be
and pretend it never happened.
Like every comic book does ever.
Oh yeah, totally.
That both Marvel and DC are in the middle of right now.
I don't actually mind it. I am actually pro anything that changes the tone of those first 3 movies or makes them more enjoyable to watch because, like, I have a lot of strong feelings about how poorly those movies.
Really do have a lot of strong feelings.
Seriously, Storm. Like, seriously.
Here we go, guys. It's the Storm thing again.
It's the Storm. Storm is one of my favorite characters. She is an incredibly strong character. I love her to death. She's very stoic until something really emotionally stirring happens, and then she loses her shit. And, like, it's, a cataclysmic world event because she controls the weather. She has godlike powers. But she's one of the most interesting characters to me because, like, when you, some of my favorite stories actually, like, flesh her out and you get to know her as a character. Even back in, like, even back when, like, Claremont wrote her and she first walks out into the panel and she's got the mohawk, like, Mohawk Storm.
Is it still canon that the Israelis killed her parents in a bombing of Egypt? Is that still canon?
Yeah, I didn't even know that was canon.
How do you not know that? How are you on a comic book show and you don't know this?
I don't know. I do games and other stuff.
No, you don't.
That's true. I really don't.
I don't know it. I don't know if it is or not.
Well, regardless, it boils down to the fact that you have a problem with Halle Berry in the X-Men.
Not personally. I'm sure she's a very nice
but
lady.
in the X-Men movies, that is what it boils down to.
And it's not. And it may not even be her fault.
It's because she doesn't have some kind of weird, Pan-African accent or a mohawk.
No. Well, they should have given her a mohawk. I'm sorry.
Agreed.
Period. Point blank, should have been Mohawk Storm. Mohawk Storm, always superior to not Mohawk Storm. End of story, end of argument. No, end of argument. No, end of argument. Best storm ever, Mohawk Storm.
You're making your ships and your fan fiction what should be canon.
It's not a ship or a fan fiction. It's like Chris Claremont, like glory days of X-Men, like.
But what did she do in the movies that entails her having such
nothing, and that is the fault of the writers. I blame the writers.
Oh.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
I don't get
right in the middle of your movie.
I've got no mic right now. Will it fell off? The tape fell off. That's why.
She's one of those characters that I find really amazing, and people give all sorts of excuses as to why she wasn't fleshed out in the movie, and it's like, no, not the way she was written boils down to bad writing. Period. End of story. I'm sorry. You can't tell me. You can't blame the character or the character's mythos for her poor role in the movie, and you can't entirely blame the actress because no matter how passionately she gives her performance as Storm, she's still delivering stupid lines like, "What happens to a toad?"
Oh, we're pausing for a second. Those of you watching live, we're going to pause for a second because my mic is broken off.
No, that's fine. No,
You need to take
Oh,
a
we're
sip
going to stay live. We're not going to stay... We're not
gonna stay alive. I'm just gonna tape.
Well, yeah, we're just gonna, later on when we cut this thing in post,
Where's the goddamn
we'll do the thing. I don't know. Ultimately, there was something you said back there that I really wanted to kind of yell about. I don't remember what it was.
Everything?
Everything. We're gonna yell about everything. All the things.
No, it's you can. Halle Berry could have come in there and been the best Storm actress that ever stormed through Stormville, but
it wasn't her story.
I understand. I'm not asking for the whole. I'm not asking for X-Men Storm the movie. That's
you
not.
kind of are a little
That's
bit.
not what I'm asking for. But if you're going to put a character in a movie, especially a prolific female character of color, yes, I'm going to say it, female character of color in your story, just having her there and giving her some throwaway lines is not enough. Don't put a character in the movie if you're not going to do something good with the character. It's it doesn't make sense to me to be like, well, we've got our Storm, tick, check, done, cool. We don't have to do anything interesting with her. We don't have to make her likable. We don't have to really flesh out her character at all.
I really feel like that is too big of a statement because when you're talking about a lot of these movies, you're saying don't put anybody in a movie unless you have something really powerful for them to do. I mean, then what about all these characters? There are supporting characters in movies.
She can still be a supporting character and be better than she was in those first 3 movies. Those first 3 movies she just barely even got the time of day, and when she did...
Dogs are going crazy out there right now because your high-pitched voice is just going crazy.
But seriously, she just... underwhelmed. So underwhelmed.
I was underwhelmed too. I'm not defending Halle Berry's role in the X-Men movies, by the way. I thought she was really, really not good in the X-Men movies. I just don't necessarily think that she needs to be such a huge, huge part of this just on the basis of her being Storm.
There are so many superhero movies specifically that have cameos that were stronger than her entire role in all 3 movies.
In Marvel, not in the X-Men franchise.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It can be done. So to look at me in the face and be like, yeah, well, it couldn't be done then. No, shut up. It could be done. You just didn't. Sorry, not sorry.
Hey, movie magic. How do I sound now?
There you go. It actually looks like a graphical part of the T-shirt. In all honesty,
doesn't it? I kind of like that.
All right, Will, how's the audio sound?
Look like a graphic part.
How does it sound, Will? I guess I should talk so you can hear what I'm actually sounding like. We're doing the thing.
Knock on the...
There's a knock on the. It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse. Who's on the door? Let's see who's here.
I wish we could just pan the camera.
If that was Taylor
You
Swift,
can come in
that
if
would
you're
have been
quiet.
amazing. I have a dream that
we were just
someday-
talking about Taylor Swift crashing our set.
And for a moment, I was like, Taylor?
Taylor?
Yes.
No? Oh. Okay. Well, not Taylor Swift,
I
but
lost my notes.
Will, do we sound okay? In which case, we're going to pick up.
they're on APA.
They're on APA. My notes are on APA.
What? It's 4. It's 3 and 4.
The wonders of movie magic.
What's the matter?
Today's episode brought to you by everything
Oh,
that could
what a fucking
possibly
disaster.
go wrong ever.
Going wrong.
Started with me putting my phone in my mouth, all
All
downhill
right.
from there.
Will, do we sound okay now?
All
Okay.
day
So
long.
we'll have to find a good cut point in there somewhere, but that's fine.
I figured just let it roll because we were arguing the whole time.
Yeah, that's fine. Cut to me. Next topic.
Next topic. So there's a little bit of casting news that has come out from Marvel this week. First of all, Rachel McAdams is going to be the female lead in Doctor Strange, which we can only assume is Clea.
Nah, she's Mephisto.
Done.
No, she's Wong. They're going to shave her bald and make her play an Asian man, totally pissing off Danny for race appropriation.
Well, I mean, they're pretty much doing that with Tilda Swinton anyway. So fuck it, whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's just
Before we go too crazy, Bryan Singer's quote, "This is the kind of conclusion of 6 X-Men films, yet a potential rebirth of younger, newer characters. This is the true birth of the X-Men. This is how it happens."
subtext.
So
We're gonna
that's
make
what-
Storm good.
I've always found Storm to be a little blah personally. But
I am going to flood your house. She's
bland.
She's
not.
not.
Bland. I thought you said black. It's like, Josh.
God damn. We are going for the gold here.
You can imagine my confusion at that. But yes, I would agree with you.
That's
what we were talking about
earlier,
because we were talking about whether Storm could lead a movie, and I always thought it was more like Superman leading a movie.
No,
Superman
I don't think she could lead. I don't think she should be the lead in an X-Men movie. I just think she should, actually be an interesting character in an X-Men movie if you put her in one. That's all I'm saying. Wasn't interesting in the first 3 movies.
Forge could shoot her again and she'd lose her powers. That was interesting.
Done?
No.
No. All right.
Rude.
She could start sleeping with Wolverine again.
That could happen.
Anybody who sleeps with a tiny hairy Canadian is interesting as far as I'm concerned.
Josh's things.
We haven't made a graphic for that.
I know, if only had that graphic. Come on.
Do I have a thing for short hairy Canadians?
This is the second consecutive episode where you've brought up short hairy Canadians, I think.
I think you probably have.
I brought that up before.
Yeah, you brought it up in another episode and twice in another episode with reference to 2 separate Canadians, no less.
This is like a therapy session for you. You're learning about yourself right now.
I think you have some deep repressed issues with short hairy Canadian men, but that is a show. That is
if it makes you feel any better, the chat room thought I said Storm is black as well.
Yes. See, thank you. I'm not crazy.
I said blend, and I'm not colorblind or stupid. Like
I'm so confused.
We were just checking. We just wanted to make sure.
Next topic.
Moving on.
So we've Rachel McAdams in Doctor Strange. I mean, I'm excited. I would watch Rachel McAdams. I would watch a riveting story about Rachel McAdams making peanut butter and jelly for 2 hours. Yeah,
what would make it
she's
a riveting
wonderful
story?
Actress. She's a great actress, but it's hard to. I mean, it's hard to have a lot.
Are we talking like sexually grind the peanuts or like bumping grind the peanuts? What are we talking? And I just did this move on camera.
That is not one of my things.
First and last time you'll ever see me do that.
Lies.
Twitter. We will edit that.
I don't believe that.
We will edit that in post.
We will find a way to make that.
Bullshit.
That's going to be a GIF all over Tumblr. All over Tumblr.
Next topic.
There's also, we've also got a confirmed Elektra for Daredevil season 2, and it is Elodie Yung, who I actually realized when I saw this graphic right here. I actually realized that I did see her in the G.I. Joe movie, and I actually really liked her in it. So
said no one ever about a G.I. Joe movie.
Shoosh said me just now, making history. No.
It's an odd phrase.
Shoosh.
Again, I'm surprised you're not all upset because there are, frankly, a lot of Greek people who could use the work right now, could use a little bit of extra money.
Why are we not
and as we all know,
I do think that's really interesting, though, because they did make a reference in Daredevil season 1 specifically to a Greek woman. Foggy makes a comment about a Greek woman that is clearly supposed to be an Easter egg for Elektra appearing in the series. I have to call.
Maybe she's part Greek.
What's her last name?
Young, Elodie Yung, not Greek.
Like
Y-U-N-G.
That's like that's.
Like bathing in the blood of children to stay eternally young. No.
Oh, gotcha. That's a pretty white name.
She's not very white, though.
Okay. As we've determined already, I have a hard time identifying color. I am not.
It's hard for me to have a whole lot of feelings about this much past. Oh my God, I'm so excited that we're getting Elektra in the series. I really like Elektra's character. I'm more interested in the fact that we've just got the confirmed character for the show than I am who is playing her. I am really excited, though. We just figured this out right before the show. Marissa Tomei is rumored, or
I think it's an official cast.
Officially cast. Oh yes, officially cast. It's like Twitter official, y'all. Is officially cast as Aunt May in the new Spider-Man movie, and it was so weird because my immediate reaction from having seen so many. My favorite Marissa Tomei movies are from the 90s. So my initial thought was she's not old enough to play Aunt May. And then I was like, wait a second. First of all, Aunt May was probably way too old.
She was way too old
to have.
Come on.
There has to be a huge significant gap between Aunt May and Uncle Ben and Peter Parker's actual parents, a huge age gap, because they're old as hell.
Which telling are you going? I mean, original Aunt May and Uncle Ben, yeah, they were old. They were his parents' uncle and aunt kind of a thing. but Ultimate Universe has aged her down. Like Aunt May is a little bit older, but still bangable. If Ultimate Universe is to be believed, it's a whole storyline apparently.
Really, that's a whole storyline.
Well, she's certainly having sex in some of it. If I remember correctly,
as she should be.
No,
Get it,
totes,
girl. Get it,
totes.
girl.
Yeah, baby.
My favorite Aunt May, my favorite iteration of Aunt May comes from the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. Aunt May is like, she does Pilates. She's like involved with her community. She's got like board game night or like card game night. Like she's out every night, which is the thing that allows Peter Parker to actually be Spider-Man, is that she is like so social. She's just like not present.
Could she play Aunt May like my cousin Vinny? Character.
Yes,
I mean, that's what she won the Oscar for.
She should be contractually obligated to do that because
I mean, Aunt May's a New Yorker.
yeah, totally.
There is no reason why she should be classy.
Why not? Why not? Hello, New York. I love New York, for the record. New York is one of my favorite towns. I'm trying to save our New York demographic, Josh.
New York and
I was there for a whole day. I found it incredibly enjoyable. The
demographic.
Turkish food was
Raccoons,
really good.
xenomorphs, New Yorkers. We're losing them all. Every episode.
raccoon xenomorph New Yorkers are kind of like
It's a very narrow niche.
I feel like it is.
Yeah, it's a very narrow niche.
But I'm sure we will find a way to offend them, and Danny will stand up and defend their rights
They're right.
to not be played by yet another white guy. Another white guy playing a female raccoon xenomorph New Yorker.
God damn it, white guys! Everything doesn't have to belong to you.
Xenophobic raccoons in New York that need those roles.
Actually,
do.
Taking them away.
I feel like legitimately that could just be like Rocket Raccoon meets aliens, and he gets knocked. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
Played by Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper.
You have
Yes.
the assignment, Internet. You go now.
Next topic.
Next topic, moving on.
Lock and Key audiobook. Oh
Yes.
my God.
Not only is it a Lock and Key audiobook, it's got a great cast.
Yes.
I mean, so Audible Productions. So Audible is the big thing it does is Audible Productions is putting this thing together. Tatiana Maslany? Hello, that's killer.
You're just making up words now.
Tatiana Maslany from Orphan Black, you know, the one that everybody thinks should have won an Emmy or at least got nominated and didn't win anything like that. Stan Lee is going to be a voice in it.
I'm really excited about everything that is happening with it. If you haven't read Lock and Key, you really, really need to go read Lock and Key. It's like if really, really, really good horror and really, really, really good fantasy banged and had a baby, it would be Lock and Key.
That's pretty accurate, actually.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It's
Danny's things. We have
Danny's
achieved Danny's things.
Banged.
Horror and fantasy banging.
Pretty much.
And making a
It's as
baby.
if Lovecraft and Tolkien got busy.
So there is. I can't talk.
It's as
this
if
series up
Cthulhu
enough, dude.
took Gandalf the Grey behind a dumpster.
Yes.
We really need a Josh's Things graphic from now on. That needs to be, we need to have a Danny's Things and a Josh's Things. Just dueling things.
Dueling.
I do want
Mark's
to agree with you.
things
Mark's Things
are dueling Danny and Josh things.
vanilla ice cream. That's my thing.
Yeah,
Vanilla ice
Mark's
cream.
things are like the most innocuous, most
Soft
like
operas.
Mark's things are Duracell commercials.
walks on the-
Duracell commercials make
walks
you
on the
cry.
beach.
Walks on the beach. Ginger ale. Sponsored by Canada Dry. Not really, but we're open. Hey!
The missionary position.
You know.
Mark's things.
You know.
Shut up, Will.
Yeah. Next topic.
But I wasn't done. I wanted to say how much
All
I
right,
agree
finish
with
your
you.
shit.
Lock and Key is spectacular.
Is the audiobook exactly the same story? Is it just...
Yeah, I believe it's just
Yeah.
basically the same
Okay.
story. It's all out in trades. You guys totally pick it up in trades.
What's going to be really cool is that there are a lot of very stimulating visuals for this particular story. So hearing how I assume that Joe Hill is going to be very heavily involved in describing those events. He's an incredible writer, just really talented. So I'm eager to see. So in a way, I feel like this is almost kind of like some extended content that's coming from Lock and Key, because there's going to be like verbal descriptions of things that you would have seen in the comic, but a verbal description is going to be obviously like a different, I don't know, it feels like extra content even though it's not, which is brilliant.
You know what I really want more than anything else, though? I want to see that pilot. I have not seen the pilot.
I am so pissed that didn't get picked up.
I mean, I understand,
bullshit.
I guess, but everybody says the pilot was amazing. It's out there. If I wanted to torrent it somewhere, I'm sure I could find it somewhere. But man, I really want to see that pilot because everything I heard about it was just amazing.
I was really shocked that they passed up on that story, that particular story. There are several other stories that have been passed up on that I've been like, well, I mean, it would have been great, but that one I was like, seriously? Seriously? Like, did somebody have an aneurysm that day?
Even the trailer. The trailer you can get online. If you look up the Lock and Key trailer for the pilot, it looks spectacular. It's such a great feel, and the casting was spot on. Everything was great.
Everything was perfect, except for the fact that it was this long.
Yeah, I wanted the whole thing. Somewhere out
Danny's
there,
things that are more than this long.
Yep, we go.
I mean, really, like I've essentially turned into "that's what she said" guy, like, and I'm gonna dial that back.
Maybe that should be your graphic instead of Josh.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just like tally up how many times.
Yeah, frankly, I just disappointed myself. I mean, is where that comes from. All right, let's move it on because I got a phone call in 10 minutes.
You got a phone call?
Yeah, dude.
Whatever. All right, here we go. Cora.
So this is the segment of the show that I would like to now in the future refer to as "We Were Right." Because we were. So last week we talked about the Change.org petition that was going around to bring Korra and the Avatar property as a Netflix exclusive, and we were like, no, that is a really well-meaning idea, but it's not going to work because both creators need to be creating their own original content, or both creators want to feel free to create their own original content. Well, guess what? Both of them announced original content this week.
Boom.
So again, we were right. I really like being right. I'm a huge fan of it. Thread Worlds looks so amazing. I don't have words. I can't word, Mark.
Brian Konietzko was one of the co-creators.
How long did you spend practicing pronouncing that name before you came on air today?
Konietzko's actually.
Konietzko? That's just.
I don't know. I just feel like.
I took Russian in college. I got that stuff.
I'm not even gonna try.
There you go. Yeah. So Brian Konietzko. He was one of the co-creators of Korra, and Thread Worlds is a graphic novel series that he's doing. It sounds really great. It's basically there are 4 or 5 planets that share an orbit around a star, and each planet is at a different level of technological advancement. It's really interesting. Apparently, it's going to show the journey of a girl on probably the least technologically advanced planet, as she starts to really get into the science and everything she learns from there. It just sounds amazing. And the art, there's been some art that's kind of come out already. It really has that anime feel.
So
it's
pretty.
Definitely out there. I mean, you've even got like the bunny-eared character kind of thing that is so prevalent in anime, everything. It just looks gorgeous.
Appleseed
So
started that with robot bunny ears,
And
and
the rest is...
one of the things that I really love is that Brian Konietzko like outright came out and said, he's like, I'm writing this for girls who are interested in science, for little girls who are interested in science. Like, that was a point that he made, that he wanted people to understand that, like, this is part of his inspiration for writing the story, and that makes me really, really happy because ladies in STEM fields.
was Avatar just like, I want to do a story for if Charlie Brown was a badass?
Avatar is actually, I could go on and on and on about the
I was thinking of Korra and not The Last Airbender. Now I get the Charlie Brown reference.
There's Avatar, The Last Airbender, and to an extent Korra are both so layered with really rich, like, good conversational topics on a level that can be understood by kids. I mean, it's basic. Avatar: The Last Airbender is basically like a preteen's guide to Buddhism. I mean, in many situations, there are so many Buddhist philosophies that are preached and come across and really well illustrated in that series. It's and part of it is a further reach of the culture that inspired the show, I think. But I mean, when you my brother-in-law is a Buddhist monk, and we've had like tons of conversations about how
your brother-in-law is a Buddhist monk. You never told me this.
Yeah, my
How did that happen?
I just assumed.
How did that happen?
I just assumed.
I just make the assumption.
And a librarian at a Buddhist library, Buddhist college.
I've known this girl for years, and she's never told me. All right, continue your story.
But it's, I mean, it really is, when you go through and watch it, there are so many social, political, and philosophical points that Avatar: The Last Airbender touches on and makes them accessible to kids. And it's incredible. It's so
true.
layered.
They both have done a great job really kind of
floors me.
making spiritualism into a thing for kids. The other one we've got, because I see Josh doing this off in the background, the other one is Michael DiMartino, who's the other co-creator. He has got a 3-book series coming out called Geniuses. The first one should come out in 2016. They're middle grade books. He's doing YA lit Geniuses. The idea is that art is magic, and it's actually banned and outlawed except for some places where people have put together these secret studios where they can make their magic kind of thing. Sounds amazing.
So here's a really interesting thing that I find about both of these projects. There are a lot of similarities in between these two projects. You've got both are going to be a hero's journey. Both are going to be a hero's tale. Both are in a very rich, basically world bending or world
building.
World building,
They're
not
both
bending.
Very good builders of worlds.
Both, with a really rich world building aspect to it. They have a lot, and those both have commonalities and themes with Avatar: The Last Airbender, and yet the story premises and the images that are coming from these stories are so unique and individual. And I think that is an incredible testament to how talented these two men really are, that they can create these properties and these stories that have so many of the same themes and yet are so imaginatively different.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I literally cannot compliment these two people more without actually
hugging
kissing ass.
Knock on the door and be like, let's go. Oh, no, it's not you. It's not Taylor Swift. It's just Josh. I agree with you, though. But, I mean, the Avatar worlds, the world building that they created there was so spectacular. These are two really talented guys. I'm kind of glad they're not doing more Avatar because I want to see what else they can do.
Because you suck.
Well,
no.
Here's the thing.
I want to see what else I can do.
Here's the thing about Avatar: The Last Airbending. Here's the thing about Avatar: The Last Airbender using comic books as a medium to tell a story between Aang and Korra means that they've basically made a spot for themselves to continue the Avatar universe as much as they want through comic books.
Plus, then they also have the storyboards all ready to go for when they want to animate them.
There you go.
Yeah, and they can also find other writers and other creators because that's much more common in comic books than it is television, I think, or original television content to sort of let someone else take on. I guess it's different. I don't know how many creator-owned titles or creator-owned shows have passed off the helm.
Terms. I mean, when you're talking about the writers of comic books versus the writers of TV shows and things, that's a really different world.
But moving forward with the story in comic books, it doesn't mean that Brian or Michael have to take time out of their original products or their original productions to continue the Avatar: The Last Airbender universe. The Avatar: The Last Airbender stories can still continue to tell narrative stories without impeding on these two guys and what the other things that they're working on. And that's why I think that Avatar: The Last Airbender moving to comic books is so great. And I would like to see more people buy those comic books so that Dark Horse and everyone understands that they should make more comic books.
I want to see Korra comic books.
I do too.
Hardcore.
Like
I want to see Korra merch.
Yes.
I get it, Lin Beifong. I get it. I want more Korra.
Yeah,
I
seriously.
want to see the next topic.
So, in the second installment of We Were Right, so last week, Josh, when we were watching the Series of Unfortunate Events trailer, Josh mentioned that he was like, wait a second, I'm seeing a rumor here that this was...
Monday?
Fan-made.
Yes.
Days ago?
I'm not used to doing the show twice a week yet, okay? Stop it. So Josh actually nailed it. This was a fan-created trailer for a Series of Unfortunate Events. And to that I say, if this person doesn't have a job at Netflix on this show by the end of the week, somebody should be really ashamed of themselves. This is basically I think I said this last week, this is basically like a cover letter for why this person should have a job
I like the way you said it too. I can't imagine Netflix putting out any type of trailer or anything that would be better than this.
Yeah.
Honestly.
There's
nothing they can put out that's going to make me more excited for the show than this show. And I don't even know the show. I haven't read
which is why I think they put it out and they're just not saying it, that they did.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to reverse viral video the thing and generate some controversy. I mean, this is a very expensive undertaking.
I'm interested to know where this actually came from, who made it, whether they're actually affiliated with Netflix or whether this is just some silly shenanigans, some silly marketing shenanigans. Now, I mean, that having been said, if this person doesn't work with Netflix, what is this person working on? Because I would like to know.
Oh, he's clearly in a studio somewhere. I mean,
no one has this much time on their hands.
No.
There's too much compositing work done.
There are already associated articles that pick out every single Easter egg from the books in this, and it's a pretty significant list. Like, there's a decent list of all of the call-outs to all of the books. This person is a fan.
If this was just there's a fan, and then there's a fan. I mean, this is like somebody sitting outside of the author's house going through their garbage and possibly praying to them.
Yes.
It's a little creepy as far as I'm concerned. So it's a little much.
May or may not be one of Danny's things.
Danny's thing.
Maybe.
All right, wrap this thing up.
All right. Well,
we got to make a call out. Last week, Rob's voice did not let us down. Rob's voice gave us.
I am the biggest, gayest Peter Pan.
This is the Broadway version. Peter Pan, Danny Danger.
Danny Pan.
Danny Pan. Broadway Danny Pan.
I don't know.
Thank you, Rob's voice. That's amazing. Well done, sir.
That was wonderful.
Now you can dig.
I feel that the head is not the right sized. Although I will say the hair is much more manageable.
I don't say that about your head.
Much more manageable.
As someone who had to
says the two people who have to edit the green screen out of my hair.
Cut out the picture of the green screen of Danny's head.
How many hairs have I cut out over the past few years? I cut out a lot of her hairs.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll get a haircut.
No, you won't.
Probably not.
No, that'll never happen.
Take it down on the sides and go mohawk.
It's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
No,
thank you all for watching Geek.
Tune in next Monday. We will do this again, and hopefully we will not have any microphone snafus. No promises.
No promises.
No promises.
I'll fix it.
We'll just talk really loud.
That's a thing. Just get a clip.
Bye. See you next time. Follow us on Twitter.
Greatest ending ever. Good night, everybody.
Take us home, Will.
Take us home.
Take us home, Will.
I really do want to talk about Jones.